Now we know how GPT-2 is trained on chunks of text. Let's take one little training example and see how it flows through the actual architecture. We will use this classic sentence, I think therefore I am. For training, we turn it into input X and label Y by shifting it one word. So the input sequence, I think therefore I, and the target sequence, think therefore I am. At every position, the model sees X and is asked to predict the corresponding word in Y. So let's tokenize both X and Y using the vocabulary. Now we also assign position indices for input X, positions 0, 1, 2, 3. We will hide Y for now. We won't use it until the very end, when we compare predictions to the ground truth. Right now, our input X is just 4 integers. The model needs something richer than that. So first, we pass these token IDs through a token embedding table. This is just a big matrix with size 50,257 by 4. One row per token in the vocabulary. And each row is a 4-dimensional vector. I'm using 4 dimensions here to keep it simple. Real GPT-2 uses 768. After lookup, we get a 4x4 matrix, 4 tokens, sequence length, and each token a 4-dimensional embedding. This is the token embedding output. So far, the model knows which tokens we have, but it doesn't know the order. To encode the position of each token, we use positional embedding. This is another table with size 1024 times 4. And for each position 0, 1, 2 and so on, we have a 4-dimensional vector. For our positions 0, 1, 2, 3, we look up rows 0, 1, 2, 3 from this table, giving us another 4x4 matrix. Positional embeddings tell the model, this is the first token, this is the second, and so on. So it can distinguish between, let's say, I am and am I. Now we just add the token embeddings and positional embeddings. The result is still a 4x4 matrix. Each row represents one token. And each row now encodes what the token is and where it is. This combined matrix is what we feed into the first transformer block. Before we do attention, GPT-2 applies layer normalization, because we want the values in each token's vector to be on a stable scale. That helps training converge and keeps the network more stable. For our 4x4 input, for each row, each token, we compute the mean, mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4, and the standard deviation, sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3, sigma 4. And then for each row, we subtract the mean and divide by the standard deviation. So each row now has mean 0 and variance 1. Then for each column, we have 2 learned parameters, gamma and beta. We multiply by gamma and add beta. So layer norm keeps each token's vector nicely normalized, but still lets the model learn the best scale and offset via gamma and beta. Now comes the heart of transformer, self-attention. And because we're predicting the next word, we need it to be causal, no peeking into the future. We take the normalized 4x4 matrix and create 3 different copies of it. We multiply the first copy by the query weight matrix, giving us Q. the second copy by the key weight matrix, giving us K, and the third copy by the value weight matrix, giving us V. Next, we split QKV into multiple heads. In our simple example, we will use 2 heads, so each head has dimension 2. In real GPT-2, there are 12 heads. Multiple heads let the model pay attention to different patterns in parallel. Let's look at head 1. We take Q1 and K1 and compute attention score. Scores equals Q1 times K1 transpose. A Q1 is 4 by 2 matrix. K1 transpose is 2 by 4 matrix. So scores is 4 by 4. Each entry ij tells us how much should token I attend to token j. Then we scale these scores by head size. Our head size is 2, so we divide it by 2. This keeps the values from getting too large. Now we make it causal. We don't want a word to look at future words when we're predicting the next word. So we take the scores matrix, and for every position above the diagonal, we set it to -infinity. That way, when we apply softmax, those entries will become 0 probability. This is why it's called causal self-attention. Each position can only use information from its past and present, never the future. We apply softmax. Softmax converts arbitrary real numbers, logits, into probabilities between 0 and 1 that sum to 1 per row. Then we multiply by the V1 matrix. This gives us the output of head 1. We do the same thing for head 2. We then concatenate the 2 heads, and we multiply that by another learned weight matrix. This 4 by 4 matrix is the output of the causal self-attention layer. Now we add residual connection. We take the original input to layer normalization and add the attention output. This is called a residual connection. It helps gradients flow better during training. Then we apply another layer norm, just like before. Now we're ready for the MLP part. Next, GPT-2 uses a small neural network called MLP, a multi-layer perceptron. This is just a 2-layer feed-forward network, applied to each token's vector. The attention layer lets tokens mix information with each other. The MLP then transforms each token's representation in a more complex, non-linear way. We again add a residual connection. All of that together is one block. Now we just stack many of these blocks on top of each other. The output of block 1 becomes the input to the block 2. Output of block 2, input of block 3, and so on. GPT-2 has 12 of these blocks. This allows the model to understand more and more complex patterns in the text. After the last block, we apply one more layer norm. Then we feed that into the output layer, also called the language modeling head. This head is a single linear layer that maps from the model dimension 4 in our example to the vocabulary size. So for our sequence length 4, the output is a matrix of shape, sequence length, vocabulary size. Each row contains the logits for predicting the next token at that position. Let's interpret the rows for our example. I think, therefore I. For row 1, this is the model prediction for the next token given just the input I. We take this row and apply softmax to turn logits into probabilities. Assume the highest probability is at index 11,274. We go back to our vocabulary table. So the model predicts, given I, next token is good, but the ground truth from Y is think. So at this early stage, or with an under-trained model, it's not always correct. For row 2, this is a prediction for the next token given input I think. Again, we apply softmax and suppose the highest probability is at index 4361. Looking that up in the vocabulary, so given I think, the model predicts therefore. The ground truth from Y here is also therefore, so it gets this one right. The difference between predictions and the ground truth Y is turned into a loss, and that's what we use to update all those weights during training. Now we understand the architecture from end to end. In the next part, we'll implement this in code.